Hello everybody, welcome to episode 26 of Competitive Magic with the Carnies. I'm your host from Italy, Andrea Mengucci, and joining me today we have Javier Dominguez from Spain.
Hello everyone.
And that's it, because once again our friend and co-host Anthony Lee is flying across the ocean to get to the further part, from where, I guess it's far, and Anthony will eventually arrive in Australia from Philadelphia, and he will join the Carnies next week, but for now, it's just me and Javier. Welcome back, Javier.
Thank you very much. I hope Anthony gets safe at home. Probably it could be like a week or two, because Australia is so far from there, that, hopefully we will hear from him soon enough.
Does he take the plane, or does he sail across the ocean?
Maybe he sails across the ocean. I don't know if 1 week will be enough, though. I guess it will. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a long journey for sure. But you guys played in the Pro Tour, the first paper Pro Tour since COVID. So it's very cool, and yeah, I'm excited to hear your experience, but mostly about the testing experience, because that is, I would say that is mostly the best part of the Pro Tour, right?
Yeah, certainly it's an important part, and also, it is a part that never depends on anything else. Like if you have a good time testing, that's something that goes with you. Like you don't have to get lucky to get a good testing if your testing team is good or whatever. So yeah, I also want to hear what was Anthony's experience, but for me, well, this was great, Mengu and listeners. This PT was great. It did really make me feel like, we're playing a PT. That's the best way I can say it. It just like this experience it's experience worth chasing. It was intense and it was emotional. I didn't know what to expect, but this definitely was better than what I would expect if you had asked me before the tournament. I didn't go particularly well, but I also did fine enough, to get to play like some rounds. So it was good. Yeah, I think you will have liked it, Mengu.
You finished 19th, so saying I didn't go particularly well, I think you just don't say that. You went great. You went 11-5, 19. You requalified for the next Pro Tour. I'm sure that was a great performance.
It was good. I also missed the top 16, which was like the big prize jump in the tournament. Like that was what a big cut was. So I got close to that big jump. So that's why I didn't feel like as good, because my breakers were low. So I got out of that big cut. But other than that, yeah, it was good. Like I had a good run in the tournament, so I definitely got to enjoy like these rounds where you're kind of like, if you went 3-0 or something, you could go maybe top 8. So that was good. Yeah, I'm not saying like I didn't go like 0-5 or anything, but I also didn't go like top 8. But even top 16 for me, that's a big difference. But yeah, tournament was good. I'm very happy with the result. I got to qualify again, which is something I thought I will not achieve. So yeah, I guess I didn't choose the words very well. What I want to mean is like I have a good experience, even though like I was having the experience also when I was 3-3, like a 3-2 or whatever. That's the, I guess that's a better way of saying it. Like even I was having the experience through the tournament. My tournament started it started badly. I started 0-2. So I kind of like had this mindset of like, well, this is likely gonna be my last PT. So I'm going to make sure I do enjoy every part of it, Like I was just trying to enjoy the games, and because I like playing this pressure magic games or whatever, so it was a good ride. I'm gonna tell you something, Mengu. I know you're gonna value this a lot, but it was strange. It's been my first PT since I can't remember where I actually didn't watch any movies or any series in the tournament. Can you believe that?
Oh wow! What did you do in for a round?
I was sitting there talking with friends, and there was so many people. Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, whenever there was a PT, Javier like finishes the round and just goes in some random tables and just with the hoodie on. Like the actual hoodie on, and he just watches an anime or whatever during the rounds. And, that was always his way to focus. But I guess I've never agreed. I've never joined you in that system, because what I do instead is just, as you said now, just talk to people. But I'm glad that you also do that now.
I might go back into that, but for this tournament, I just like there was so many people I wanted to talk with, and I knew there will not be afterwards, like whatever. No, so I just talk to people,
Right.
because
Yeah.
so many people. I just wanted to ask, like, how's life? How have you been? How's your life now? How are you getting? How's your story going? And yeah, I mean, I guess I was maybe a little bit less focused on like the competition. I can concede that, but I also was happier because I was getting to talk to these people that I usually don't get to talk with. So yeah, I mean, I wanted to share this with you because I knew you would, appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm always critical of a little bit critical of your. Yeah, but I'm happy that.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, it's not like I decided to do it beforehand. Actually, it wasn't. Like I only noticed by the end of the tournament, like, wow, I haven't watched a single thing in the whole tournament, It's not like
Maybe
I decided,
because
like,
the
I even
rounds,
brought, yeah.
you're getting low on minutes.
No, it just had. I mean, I ended some rounds pretty fast. To be fair, especially the limited ones were kind of fast, all of them.
Right.
No, I just, like I didn't. It just didn't feel like it. Like I never, like I always found someone to talk with. That was a. Yeah, there were so many people I wanted to see, and that was.
Yeah, I would say that a paper PT, the feeling of, I don't know, you just be like, every match is so important, especially towards the end, because you were in the top 8 contention, right? Up until, what was it? You were 10-3, 10-4?
I was X4, yeah. I was X4.
Yeah, so you had to win back-to-back round to get to the top 8.
Yeah, they were pretty huge rounds. Yeah, but still, I will just talk with people. It's I don't know. It was a different feeling for me, and I liked it. I might go back to the iPad style, but maybe not. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with the flow. Like maybe I feel differently next time, but for me, yeah, I mean, it was quite an experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad that Paper PT is back. Of course, my experience is also different because I was just watching from home. But I would say that, reading Twitter and watching the coverage, it definitely felt like it was an important event for so many people that you could never compare it to an arena PT. It wasn't even close, like the reaction on the internet that you got from people.
Yeah, it was so. I mean, for me, it was an intense tournament, and I loved it. Like it felt super different to me than how I felt in Sofia. Like when I was in Sofia, I had like these like GP vibes, which is fine, but it's a whole different thing of the PT vibes, right? So this one had the PT vibes. It did really.
In Sofia, it was a regional championship. It's the same day in America it was Atlanta and Sydney or whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, what you're saying is that it really was a pro tour. If Sofia felt more of a GP, this one was really a pro tour.
Exactly.
I can
absolutely.
see that.
That's. I mean, everyone. Okay, so everyone feels these things differently. So
for sure.
But I also got. So this is something I noticed halfway in the tournament. I think it was talking with Matty, where I was like, these last years in the PT, I was. So after 2017 or so, 16, I got platinum or whatever. I got gold in 16. So all these PTs, I really loved them. I loved every one of them. But it was a different thing because I knew there would be more, right? Like it was never like a unique thing. That was Worlds. All the other tournaments were like, this is one PT, but I have another one. This time, I went to this PT with the feeling of like, this is likely or could be my last PT ever. Right, so that made it like more intense just by the fact that it might be the last one. And I don't know if that happened to other people, but it did happen to me quite a bit. That's something I don't get if I play other tournaments also.
Yeah, it's funny knowing that I at some point played my last paper PT and I never knew it was the last. I mean, obviously I don't know if it's the last one, but
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, like you didn't know back in the moment that it was the last PT, right? Yeah, I know the feeling.
For sure. Yeah, hopefully Naples is coming soon and I'll get the qualification, but it's so hard. It feels like when we were in the MPL and everybody outside was telling how much, they enjoyed watching people, celebrating and competing in all these cool events, but it was so hard to get in. And for me, it was the Pro Tour where, so many of people that I knew were just so happy about this event. And I was just outside it's so hard to get in. So it felt a little bit like that, but of course, I was so privileged with the MPL and stuff that obviously, it's just, I guess it's just an experience that I never had. So it was a little bit tough at the beginning, but honestly, I got to enjoy the coverage at least and really just watch, Reduke and Nassif and all the players that was rooting for actually doing well every time they were in coverage. So it was cool.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of hard to qualify. Like, when I said people like, yeah, I'm gonna see this different because it might be my last PT, they were like, but you can qualify again. I'm like, well, I think qualifying for these things is pretty hard. Like, even if you're good, like, I don't think I'm bad, but like, even if you're good at playing or solid, you have to top 30 whatever the RC or like, it's very hard to qualify. You have like only one shot. I guess maybe two if you count the arena or whatever, but like it's very hard to qualify no matter what. And I don't think even if you put like the hypothetical best player or whatever, they will still have not a super high chance to qualify for any given PT. So I agree with you there. Like, it's super hard, and like there's the PT Barcelona where I obviously want to qualify as much as I can, but I'm realistic, and I know that even if I test a lot or whatever, I just you can just man a screw that day and it's over. Like, it might depend on you, it might be your fault, but also it can just simply like you don't get lucky this day and that's it. So it's
and I think that cool. One of the great and strong mentality that pro players have and have developed is that you don't tie your emotions to one event. So if you do poorly in one event that you practice well for, that you have another one to to get your variance on your way. But that doesn't happen necessarily with this time, because you have one shot, which is the RC, to do well, and if that doesn't pan out, that's it. Like, you can't play the Pro Tour.
Exactly, and, that's it. That's great.
Yeah. Whereas, back in the days, we would have like 4 Pro Tours a season. So if you could even break like 2 of them, but do well in the other 2, and you would continue the streak. Maybe you can say it was too easy previously, but not that many people were able to do it. So I guess it wasn't that easy.
No, it's. I don't think it was like easier or harder. It was different. Like, before, it was better if you were consistent or whatever. But now, there's still a lot of people qualified. It's just like it's gonna be different people every time. But some people it's gonna get there anyway. I guess if you go like across the year, it should be like similarly difficult, proportionally, but it's gonna spread in different way, which is fine. I'm also glad like all this. Like, I played like a few players that it was the first PT. So like we went for the classic, like there's some players from the first PP and then people clap. You remember that in the PTs?
Yeah, the one that stand up.
Yeah, they didn't stand up this time, but we did the clap. Okay. I don't know. It was a cool moment for me because I don't know, it had been a while, and yeah, like all these people, like for a moment I thought like, well, I don't know if the experience they're gonna get is similar to the one we had before, but it is. Like, I'm glad these players that played this first PT this time, they actually got this PT experience, which is like similar to what we got before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, listening to the stories and yours as well, it just feels like they just took the same approach that was to last paper PT and put it to this one.
Yep. Yeah, more or less. Yeah, like I think that's cool. I think that's they did a good job with that thing. So I'm very glad they did.
That. Yeah, that's really just for the judges. Like, the judges, they handle these events so well. Same thing in the LMS in Europe. The judges are just very, very good at organizing stuff like that, and always makes it feels like a very important event when you're there and competing. And
yeah, they did have enough judges for like they didn't feel like they were understaffed or whatever. It just like it was good. The venue was good. Like, there's small things that could be improved or whatever, of course, as always. But I
heard that you had a lounge with like free coffee for every competitor.
Yeah, there was a coffee. I mean, I don't drink coffee, but it was like, you have water, coffee, just some tables to sit, which is something. Nice. I mean, I remember like in PT London, the one with Phoenix. Okay. Like, I remember having to watch my movies on the floor because there was not a place where I could sit on. So you will see me and other people who just wanted to rest between rounds, just having to sit on the floor next to a wall. That's not
because you couldn't sit on the tables.
No, because the tables were all for playing on the playing area. right?
Yeah,
Remember?
and
So
you
you
couldn't
cannot
sit
get there.
there.
So
Okay.
yeah, so I had to sit on the floor. That's not very
Yeah,
serious
that's
or
not
whatever,
good.
No, this time we had like a few tables. It was like maybe I don't know, like 5 big round tables. Like it could absorb more people. Like it was never crowded, like. But you always had a seat if you wanted to. It was good. I mean, it's kind of easy to do that, but it just changed the experience. It was yeah.
Also, you received a lot of product, as in you received everyone received a Jace.
Yep.
That's about 500 euros, so that's very good. And if you did well in the event, you received a foil Jace, which is, as far as I know, like 3,000.
Yeah, but that was a top 16 cut. That's why the top 16
Yeah,
cut was so
exactly.
large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a very new thing that Wizards is doing. It's actually, you remember how like they never acknowledged the secondary market. Now they do it. So now they actually give prize for free. I mean, not for free, but like that doesn't count in the actual, you know what I mean? Like extra stuff.
It kind of like, it kind of makes you wonder why this was not done before, in a way.
I mean, it's Wizards. They're probably just...
No, I'm saying like they did it this time. We'll see.
Yeah.
We also got like a playmat, like a cool playmat, like Phyrexian playmat, and a backpack, which might become
playmat before,
my new backpack for Magic tournaments. Actually,
yeah, you could buy the playmat before for like $25, I think, or 50. I don't remember. But...
Yeah, they were kind of expensive. They did give it this time. They was also, this is the kind of thing like they give a backpack and a playmat, and that's just very cool. Like it was cool for me, and I have played a lot of PTs, and I had some bags from PTs or whatever. This one was good. I'm pretty sure, like for people that was, I mean, if it was cool for me, that I have played a bunch of PTs, imagine for like it was like, wow, this is so cool. And then I felt like, because someone from Spain, like they were like, wow, this is just great. And I was like, yeah, it is. Like, even if you have played more PTs before, this is still like super cool. And they really accomplished that feeling. That's been cool,
Yeah, I believe this started, if I'm not mistaken, with Flesh and Blood. Like Flesh and Blood is a card game that was giving very expensive cards for like GP winners and whatever, PT winners and things like that, like unique cards. And I think they just, copied the same model, and they're doing the same. Like, I don't know, there's a very small amount of Jace in the world, and it's very expensive.
I think that's cool. Yeah, I mean, we also had in Sofia, right, where with the promo of the fairies.
The fairy.
The one I forgot in the venue, yeah.
No, the foil one?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because I didn't know there was like price in Sofia, so I had All right. So, well, I mean, also you asked me about the testing. I don't know if you want to talk about the venue.
Right. No.
Itself.
One more thing I want to ask.
Yep.
I want to listen. I want to hear the stories from your the testing partners that were new to Paper Magic High Event. Like, I know, as far as I know, that some of your teammates that did very well, like Tristan Weylarou and David Inglis, they did super well in the event, 9th and 12th, but they were kind of new to like paper high level Magic. How did that go? Like
that's wild. Like, I mean, some of them never played PT before, like a high event level before. I think it was, I don't know, but because David was not on the house until the very last day, so I got to talk way less with him. But it was particularly Julian, and I think Tristan. Like Tristan was wild because I think he never actually played like tournaments. Like he also never played like a GP or something like that.
Wow.
Like in paper. Like I think Julian also, like, it was completely wild to me. There was a running joke around on how like he will get like a lot of warnings or whatever, but man, these guys are fast learners. They just like you will see them playing, and every day will just play better. And for me, the concept of having not played like in paper was strange at the beginning, because there was a story like we were drafting, and they were like, well, but how do you pass the cards? Because for us, it's just you shuffle the cards and you put them counting face down, right? Like, it's very obvious because we've done it like a million times. But if someone has never drafted in paper, how will they know that? So we had a lot of stories like this. Yeah, I mean, I was impressed by these guys actually, managing because the PT is like a lot of pressure or whatever. They have playing important games. Magic is a very complex game. But they also had the pressure of like not having played with actual cards, with physical cards in an event like this. So these results, like Tristan top 12th place or whatever, like, I think they're like double impressive for me at least. Like imagine just playing, like you're playing online only, you never touch a card in physical paper, then you got there and you almost top 8 anyway. I think that's I think that's impressive. Like in the house when we were drafting, we actually drafted like the tournament after the second day, whatever. They were like, well, I need to practice the tournament draft because I don't know how to do it. So we had Anthony, doing its best impersonation of a judge, just calling the draft like the judge.
Which judge? Which judge?
Do you need to know which judge?
Yeah, tell the listener. So a side story. Anthony impersonifies very well Riccardo Tessitore, famous Italian judge, and he just copies his accent perfectly. So there's a video that I think Austin posted on Twitter where Anthony just calls the judge with great Tessitore accent. It was beautiful.
Exactly. So that's how we do it. Like in the house, Anthony was like, players, click 14 cards, draft, pass the cards. We also had the timer drafts. We also timed them because, so they will get used to actually drafting like the same way they were drafting the PT. Right? We have to do it like that way. Which honestly, when they said it, I didn't like the idea. Tristan said like, well, let's do this and try. I didn't like the idea because I was like, come on, let's just review the picks and take our time or whatever. Yeah. But to be fair, it was a great idea actually. Even for people like me, it was good. I think that it was good for everyone, not only for them. It was obviously good for them because they had to learn about it, but it was good to also like, it was the first time where I drafted in the PT and I didn't feel like I was rushed to make the picks because I had been drafting like that the whole week.
Yeah,
it's something that I didn't expect.
One thing that I think is super different and that you have to learn about is that at the PT you don't see your picks up until the end of the pack, whereas online you always see every like the mana curve and etc. So you actually have to memorize everything. I remember that was a super important thing, like knowing exactly how many creatures, spell, 2-drop, 3-drop I had while drafting.
Exactly, but if you do this for a whole week, it stops being hard. So I thought it was super useful. So I'm very glad we did that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, he was always like super concerned about like, because he played like specifically Lotus. Tristan played Lotus combo, and I remember him being paranoid about like doing the correct order of drawing cards and tapping lands or whatever. All the players were concerned about like how do you count the mana while going off, this kind of stuff. Which is kind of not a concern, or not to some extent if you're like, a well-seasoned paper player, but it was fun, to watch them like learn, and they were very fast again. Like I think they played both like few matches or whatever, and you could see like they just were playing Magic. Even though we knew they were kind of new to the paper play, but. Yeah,
it was funny. It was funny to me because I was watching. I believe David Inglis was 6-1, so I got to watch his last match. And I know his name, of course, because he dominated the arena events. But it was so funny watching him tapping the lands. Like you understand when a player is new to Magic when they tap the lands in a very I don't know, like 90 degree. It was. You can feel it, right?
Yeah, no, I can feel it. Yeah, like the way they handle the taps on the cards or whatever. Yeah, there's this kind of way that people played a lot do it. Yeah, exactly.
And it's so weird because if you play against a player that it's so new to paper Magic, you would assume that he's bad, right? And he is not, which is definitely a new era of competitive Magic, I think, from now on.
Yeah, I guess other way of saying it's like usually when you play against someone who is clearly not very like used to play with cards, it means they're like not used to play the game itself. Yeah, exactly. Now we have this situation where these players actually not used to play with cards, but they played a lot of Magic, and they already know how to play very well. So it's definitely a new age. I agree with you. Like,
yeah, I remember I played against a player from Europe who was qualified to Worlds, so played the Worlds like a few weeks before, and he was just so new to paper Magic that you could tell whenever they top deck, their cards were falling off their hands. Looks so clumsy, and yet they just qualified to Worlds thanks to Arena. And also like we have our world champion Nathan Stewart, who ran it back. Top 8, like went world champ into top 8 of a PT. It's amazing. Nathan's definitely one of the best player in the world right now. Together, of course, with VEEDEO. We haven't mentioned him yet. I'm so sorry, Reed, but VEEDEO won the Pro Tour.
Finally,
that's very cool for me.
Yeah, that's just great. Yeah, I was happy to see him winning for sure. Like Reed's been around for a while. I've always thought like he had been underrated. I mean, because he's always been like super consistent, a lot of finishes, but also a lot of like deep runs in tournaments. But he's never got like this huge trophy. I remember he lost the finals to Shahar like ages ago. He'd been there like in the top for like so many years, and it's very good to see someone who I also like. I'm a big fan of VEEDEO personally, and I think it's just a very good thing for the game that he wins. But mostly, I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he gets to enjoy this now, and like to know that he's gonna have this victory with him forever, because I think the man deserves it a lot. So yeah.
I mean, the consistency of Reed is great. Like he in the winter interview, he said to Cedric something like, "During those arena days, I never top 8 at any event. Yet he qualified to Worlds with the MPL's top 4 slots when it was like super hard, right? Like, just you had to make X4, X5 every PT, and he did that, and then he was always MPL through every year. Yet he never got a top 8. Pauper PT's back. First place for Duke with Isa Creativity, a deck that he said he picked up with the team at the very final days, as he was mostly playing Rakdos, but found that this deck was very well positioned. So yeah, maybe we can start talking about Pioneer now, Javier. How about it?
Yeah, I mean, up to you. I can talk about the PT. I can talk about Pioneer. I think a lot of these things will entwine because the PT was obviously Pioneer, right? And it was like the big thing. But also, I wanted to tell you and the listeners that I'm glad they also had this mixed draft and constructed, tournaments. Like I loved having draft in the tournament. I think maybe I think of it this way because it's how I used to play the PTs, but I just loved having this tournament where it's 2 formats, like draft plus constructed. You have to prepare both. You have to try to have all these skills, use them together. I'm glad the PT drafts are also back. So you can just open be like, let's open something, and it was good.
Yeah, I'm sure that the split format is more it's more exciting than the 15 round standard event that we're gonna be playing soon. But yeah, let's just say that split formats always feels like the event matters more if it's split format.
Yeah, for me it does. But it has always been like that. Even though, like the old nationals, they were split format, and I loved it. Even if it's I was like bad at drafting or whatever, but it was like just good for my taste. They just have these split formats.
You ever played the Worlds that was 3 different formats?
No, fortunately not.
Oh, okay.
I watched them on the TV, whatever, but I did not.
Yeah. Same.
One day, Mengu, maybe.
Long time ago, right? They started on Thursday. It was 6 rounds of a format. Friday, 6 rounds of a format.
I actually did. Oh, yeah. My memories, dude.
You played it?
Yeah, I did play in Nagoya, 2004. Yeah.
4, wow.
Maybe 4 or 5, I don't know. I actually went top 16. I think I won 10th place or something like that. Yeah. It was it's funny, I forgot about this. It was a standard, limited, and extended. And I went 5-1, 2-4, and 6-0.
Nice. Did you play Cephalids?
No, I played the Rock.
No.
With gifts and given. Yeah.
Okay, Gift Rocks. Yeah, that's old deck.
That's the Gift Rock, exactly. That's an old deck. Oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah, the memories is good. Yeah, I'm sure draft was fun. How was the format? I've never drafted this format. I don't even know the cards.
I mean, this format got a very bad press in the internet compared to other formats. I thought it was fine. I mean, there's a lot of I think maybe issue with the format is similar to the one of the Spark. You remember what we did and what you wanted to do in the draft of the Spark format? You remember, right? Tell the people.
Open bombs.
But tell the people what you wanted to do for the last drafts.
Open a god.
No, you wanted to remove the gods from the draft because they will just win. Winning every game.
So let's tell the story. The PT, what was it? London, right?
Yep.
Yeah. PT London,
the one with the Spark. Yeah, exactly. The same.
The PT was on pre-release, so people couldn't actually That was so, like, it's wild that they did it. But anyway, you couldn't draft with packs. You couldn't draft a magical line. You couldn't draft. So what we did was we found a testing team. We proxied all the cards, and then we randomized packs. But I don't know why, but the randomizer, I mean, I guess it's random. Maybe it wasn't. Anyway, I had that conspiracy theory saying that drafts in wasn't actually random. I don't know. Kept on putting gods in it. Like every draft had like 3 gods, and whoever had gods was just winning every time or never doing badly mostly. So I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's just draft without without gods so that we can see actually how the format is. Because this doesn't feel like it should be this way. But at the end of the day, it was mostly a gods or planeswalker. Yeah, I hated World of Spark.
Yeah, turns out the gods and the planeswalkers were good. I did draft some of those. Yeah. And this time it was similar. Like the same situation where we had like a lot of like rare cards that were like just complete bombs. Like Nissa was a rare. Remember that? The 5-mana Nissa.
Yeah.
like they were.
In World of Spark, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And here, how is it here?
Like there's a lot of rares that are planeswalkers. Like I opened the Koth in this PT. Like Koth is one of these like broken unlimited planeswalkers, and it's a rare.
Koth?
Like it was not a mythic. It's a rare. So we have the classic unbeatable mythics every set has, but also there are like a bunch of bombs in rare. No one's like Gollyvinger level, of course. But still, like, bombs that are good enough to just win games single-handedly. And that for me, like, a format like this is, like, I will never think a format like that is a good format because they're just not. Like half of the games, they're just decided by these cards because there's so many. Most of our trophies were, like, in the house, inside draft. They were, like, bomb tribal. Like, whoever had 2 planeswalkers or whatever, they just win the draft. Like, because the good decks could not keep up. The new Emperor... The 6-mana, Trashy Caragans, whatever, that's a rare. Like, right?
Yeah.
That's just like...
Yeah, my experience at the pro release has been that the commons... There were a lot of commons removals for Planeswalker.
Yeah, but that is true, that you can remove the Planeswalkers, but that doesn't mean they're not winning the game regardless, Like if they play this 6-mana Emperor, you're probably losing. Even if they... Like, if they don't kill it, you're losing every time. But even if you deal with it, the damage is often like... done in many situations. Also, there's a lot of like snowbally cards, like Phyrexian Arena, whatever. They play this card and they play on turn 3, you're gonna lose. There's a lot of situations like this. Let's say I think this simply makes the format not very good or not good, but once you move past that, I think the format is actually okay or good. Once you go, like, it has some fixing, it has like a lot of different strategies, even with the same colors, you can do different things. The gameplay is interesting. I thought a lot about you because some players wanted to play more draft and less games or whatever. And in my head, I has this you remember you're saying like this small Mengu talking like, no, but let's play the draft games because draft games are very important. So you actually know how to play the games afterwards. Like I had the, you remember you advocating for this every time?
Yeah. So what happened every time is that some people drafts. And like there's 5 people watching the draft. Let's see, you draft a magical line. 5 people watch the draft, and then everybody leaves for the games because they only care about the draft. But how do you evaluate a card if you don't actually play the games? And yeah, just playing the games, you get to understand what to play against, like the combat tricks that are in the format. Actually, how your decks plays out, because you can't just say, "Oh, I went 3-0, so this archetype is good." Sometimes you go 3-0, but you don't have a good feeling. Like you only won because of your bomb and like things like that.
Yeah, so it was like our decks were a little bit like that. But yeah, we played a lot of games also. And I found some of the games interesting. I think the toxic mechanic is actually the toxic plus corrupted mechanic. It's very smart design. I think there's a lot of situations where you have to block that you wouldn't otherwise. That makes the combat tricks more relevant.
Chump attack.
Yeah, chump attack. Or combat tricks are actually goodish. They're better than other formats, and I think that's good also. I think the format is pretty interesting. Like I think it's a good format, except, you play a good chump attack, you play a good combat trick, but they tap 6 mana, play the Emperor, and you're dead. And since it's rare, this happens a lot. So I would say the format is definitely like below average. I will say it's like a 4 out of 10 or something. But I don't think it's as bad as, the internet press compared to, I mean, my experience was it's
For
fine.
sure.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit, to be fair. Maybe, but this is like half of the games are just like that. But I definitely think it's the 4 fun drafts. I was had some fun drafting this week also. I don't love the idea of playing the bomb fest in tournaments, especially the PT or whatever. But yeah, it was good for me. Acceptable, maybe like a 5 out of 10. I don't know,
Okay,
4 or 5.
okay. Yeah. All right, let's get into the pioneer testing now. So we're gonna skip modern this week because we had a full modern episode last week. I was with Twinless Twin, so check it out. Oh, actually, I haven't mentioned it yet, Javier, but we do have a Patreon.
We
We do
do,
have a Patreon.
yeah.
I'm supposed to mention it every week. It's just that we didn't have any new Patreon this week, so I guess I didn't put it in the show notes to thank our new Patreon because there was none. But we do have a Discord where you can just ask us questions there. People ask me all the time things. You can post your results and we can talk about it. So check it out at patreon.com/carnies. And as I said, yeah, no modern this week because it's been a lot of modern talk last week. But let's talk about Pioneer finally. So the deck you decided to play was Rakdos Midrange, to the surprise, definitely
Surprise.
not of me because I thought you were playing this deck.
Surprise, yeah. I mean, there was a joke in the team where someone said, like, when the testing started, like, yeah, they said I was locked on Black Red since the beginning, which honestly was not true. I didn't play as much Black Red during the testing as I thought I would, but ultimately I just kept doing fine with the deck. I think this deck was good for me during the tournament. Honestly, I just felt like I was playing a decent deck, but obviously, there were some other options. I want to say I think our Pioneer testing was pretty good. Like, I was happy with how it went. I think also the team was kind of large, but most notably we had a lot of different players putting a lot of effort. Even players that like we had like players that were like older and always have been around, like me or Paulo. We had Paulo on the team also just playing a lot, but also these young players also playing a bunch. So we had a lot of sample sizes. My perception and a lot of the team also felt that way was a Lotus combo was like the best deck to play in a tournament. But I just couldn't feel it. You know what I mean by feel it, Mengu? I just couldn't win with it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you do. Yeah, you play the deck and you understand if you liked it or not.
yeah, it's like I just couldn't get the most of it. And I just feel like I was playing some leagues and I was just losing games that I could have won again and again. I was struggling learning how to mulligan well with the deck, how to actually defend against Cade, whatever. I was not doing very well, even though like I am sort of a combo player. It's not like I never play combo. I just couldn't win much with this one. I guess the lack of this side plan, because combo is like a pure combo deck. I mean, sorry, Lotus is like a pure combo deck. I'm used to play combo decks that are like a little bit of like control combo, I guess.
Okay.
But I just couldn't feel it. I just couldn't play very well with it. So at some point I gave up Lotus. And I do think I can play Rakdos very well. So it was the other way around, where Lotus, I was feeling like my deck was the best deck, but I just couldn't pull the wins. But Rakdos, I was feeling like my deck was not good enough, but I knew it so well that I could just get wins from tight situations again and again. This kept happening in the testing, where I was winning games with Rakdos that I thought the deck should not win, and the other way around. So that's what ultimately made me feel comfortable playing Rakdos. I think it was only me and Anthony playing Rakdos. Anthony was not on board until the very last second. He almost played Auras, but at the end he just felt like he was not gonna play Auras very well, and he was gonna play Rakdos well. And he knew also I had my version like very well tuned for the tournament, so he always had this like backup plan of jumping into my deck. So it was only us two, but I think the version was fine. I'm very happy with my Rakdos configuration. If I could go back, I probably would not change a card. There was like small things like the mana base where I cut the Urborg. I didn't play Black Cliffs. I put a lot of effort in this kind of details, Mengu. But it's not like I forgot this card was printed. I just played it and I thought a lot about it, and ultimately decided to against playing the new land. I think the new land is kind of a trap, but I could be wrong as always. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how the format looked from the outside, Mengu.
Yeah, so as always, as you said, I looked at this at the mana base first, and I saw no Black Cliff. So clearly, you thought about it. Also, I saw that you raised the basic lands a lot. I think most people play less than 5 basics, so you also made that change, right?
Yeah, it's just like so. Urborg was not good for me. I never liked it much, and but I also wanted my mid game mana to come into play untapped.
Hmm.
So it was about like putting more basics or putting more Sulfur Springs. I expected some mirrors, and that's what most of the reason why I didn't put more Sulfur Springs because so many mirror matches actually end this being decided on like 2 life points. With Shield or whatever. Games are often tied, and to be fair, Rakdos mana base is just like super solid. I'm on the other decks. I
What's
think
the
it's like it's very very rare to die because you call the screw. Also, like the mana base is super good. Like you rarely screw, you rarely flood. You lose games because your cards are like not well suited for a matchup.
yeah?
But the mana base, no, I don't think I want to sacrifice speed to get a better mana base. Like if the mana base is already good, I don't need more dual lands. I just need like my lands to come into play and tapped because
Yeah, I
sometimes, yeah,
think
exactly, you lose because
one
of
of my problems, again, last time I played was in Sofia, so it was November. With Rakdos mana base, was the sometimes you had this like Haunted Rage plus Castle Lock Twin draw, and like all your lands came into play tapped, and you couldn't go turn 2 drop, turn 3 Fable.
exactly. That's why I try to. I mean, that's why I liked playing a lot of basics, and I'm happy I did it. I mean, there's surely maybe a way to build a better mana base, but I don't know where to start. Like, I just feel like the mana base is good as it is. Like, I've played 5 basics. I could maybe play 4, but it's just like basic swamp is so good because of what you said. Like the Castle Lodgewing makes it so sometimes you get super
Why
awkward hands.
why you're not playing one Urborg over a swamp?
Because I felt like there was so one the deck has a lot of black colors, right? Like it does have a bunch of black sources, but the key here is you almost never need more than one black. Like sometimes you need two, but you still have like almost every land in the deck except 2 mountains and one land on Sock Sun. It's 4. You have like 21 black sources. That's already a lot. And whenever you have 4 lands, if you think about it, it's almost impossible. Like for Urborg to be good in that situation to cast like a Shieldred, you will need to have specifically 3 of the 4 red lands, or I guess a pathway. But it's just so unlikely because if you have like Mountain, Sock and Sun, and then of the Bugbear, you're never putting pathway on black, right? So that situation is very rare.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but on the other side, there's a lot of situations where Urborg helps the opponent. You can, for starters, you can help the mirror match opponent, but
Hmm.
also there are other decks that actually get benefited of this situation. Mana Confluence is one of the big ones. Like a lot of
Okay,
Griffin,
right.
yeah, Griffin decks play Mana Confluence, and
And also Boggles.
also Auras. As a Black Red player, one of the strengths of this deck is that it's a true mid-range deck, which means in every matchup, even if you are the defender or whatever, the defender, their life total always counts because suddenly you play Shieldred.
Of course.
And yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So if they can save 2 lives because you cast Urborg, they play Urborg, that's pretty bad. But
Yeah.
there's more than that because there's also like Ultimatum from Lotus Field. There are some games where they can cast it also, and it's also like Leyland Binding, which is a good card.
Okay.
It's a good card against you, whatever. But actually, Black Red can be pretty fast, and you're attacking the
Yeah.
resources with Thoughtseize and such. Leyland Binding for 3 mana is not particularly good against Black Red. Leyland Binding for 1, now that is very good, right? And the Fires decks or whatever, I mean, black is their splash color often. Like that's the one they don't play cards, so you'll play a few lines because of the bindings or whatever, but they don't have black, so you play
Yeah.
Urborg, suddenly, the bindings become much better. I think that's a lot of ifs for, a line that virtually never is more than a basic swamp, so I just went for basic swamp. Easy.
Yeah, I have this memory of watching Reed versus an Incarnation player, and he had Bent Triumph plus Mountain and couldn't cast Binding for 1. Actually mattered. Just in my mind, I think about this now.
Exactly.
So,
And the rest, I
yeah.
just went for similar Sophia mana base. I was playing Basic
Apenuma?
Mountain, yeah, because I think Basic Mountain is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's the land that lets you always like go like Swamp Thoughtseize, Mountain Bone Crusher, like Stomp, and then just play a 3-drop. And I still play Den of the Bugbear. I think Den of the Bugbear is important. I played it over the Black Cliffs because again I think I have enough black, and I then want to cut it because then you play against blue white control or like reactive deck or whatever, and the land is does so much. at least I won a game attacking with Zenith Bugbear. Like, we'll have not won otherwise. So, at least that match is on then. It depends on the metagame, of course. Like, if metagame is super aggro, I could see cutting it, but you need to expect like control to be very low, in my opinion, because one then can make a big difference in that matchup.
I also remember you wanted to cut Takenuma, but it's still there. So
yeah, I did, but at the end, I started loving Takenuma more.
Okay.
I liked. I think having run to count Takenuma. I think Takenuma is it's very rare to use Takenuma. But I think when you use it, it's just like too good. Remember the tiebreak? The tiebreak was like, we thought Crocs plus Takenuma was good, and this is still the case.
We're playing two Crocs now. Yeah. I think we're playing one maybe.
Yeah, no, we're playing two Crocs and one Takenuma. But if it does happen, it's just good. I think Takenuma is just too good not to play, in my opinion. I think it's a tight thing anyway, but I'm happy with Takenuma, and I used it like once only on tournament, but it's also not that common for Takenuma to screw your large wains, so I like it.
Yeah, I see that you're playing 2 power word kill. That's the card I wanted to fit very much in the deck.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of power kill, but we need some removal. It's also not dead against Lotus, and it's just like so many players were playing 5 removals for them in a match for Shieldred. They were playing 2 red boards, 3 board kills or whatever. So I could not play. I could play 1 less and still be fine. But I didn't want to play like 2 or 3 less, because then I will lose the mirror matches, and I don't want to lose every single mirror match I will play in the tournament.
Yeah. All right. As always, competitive Magic player that love to talk about 20 minutes about 1 or 2 card changes. But I guess this is also one of the reasons why you are listening to this podcast, is for the Cut Herbor Put Swamp in your 2 colors deck. So hope you enjoyed this discussion. But yeah, so you ended up on Rakdos. You went 7-3, which is a solid record at the Pro Tour. Definitely want to be happy. All right, Javier. So you had a great time during the Pro Tour Philadelphia. I'm sure that you're going to have a great time as well in Minneapolis. Hopefully I can join you there.
I hope so, man. It will be great to have you there. Also, I got to hang out with Anthony a lot. We hadn't met in person in like a lot of years. We do talk a lot with each other. We talk with you. So it could be great if we can actually meet all us 3 together. I will personally loved it.
Was this the first Pro Tour that you were not in the hotel room with me for I don't know many years?
True, that is true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I do not miss being attacked by you randomly in the night. So that's good.
The random hug are even more aggressive now, I think, because I'm not used to sleep with for GPs or PTs as often as
exactly. Yeah. No, but it was good. So I'm looking forward for the next one. Then again, the next one also will feel like it might be the last one. But yeah, it's just. Also being in the testing house with them, with the people, they were great. I was a little bit like, I don't know the word, like reluctant a little bit. The situation of just going into a house with people, a lot of people I didn't know beforehand, mostly because most of them I actually did not know in person, right? Like a lot of, a big part of the team. So it was a little bit like this. I don't know how it will work. But yeah, I mean, it did work pretty well. I think there were very good vibes in the house. It took me like some days, 2 or 3 days or whatever, to get used to it, but the vibes were great, and it also felt like I remember when I got into the team. You remember the mint card team, when we finally met more.
That was Kaladesh, right?
Kaladesh, exactly, in Hawaii. I mean, I was there. Like, I barely knew anyone, right? This time I knew some people quite a bit. Like, there was Simon also.
Nice.
Which we have teamed with in the past many times. But other than Simon and Anthony, most of the people, I knew some of them, but I never got to talk too much to them. Like, it was Mati, also Paulo, other people that I knew. I have talked with them, but never stayed in a house for 10 days with, and the rest, I just, like, a lot of them in the house, I didn't even know how they looked. So it was a little bit of a shock the first day, whatever. But the whole Texas experience overall, it was great. I loved being there, and I had fun. It was good. I also got to live that part again, where I just was getting used to be with new people, but I also learned a lot of things. I got to talk to a lot of different humans about life and about how we felt about Magic and how we approach this tournament. It was also good to see this, this new players so passionate about it and just passionate about learning the game and trying to do well in the tournament. Yeah, like we saw the Nathan trying to learn the deck before the tournament. Also, yeah, it was a good experience, Mengu. What can I say?
I swear, I imagine. Yeah, we already are into another testing experience as we are talking about Standard for the upcoming regional championship, which for me and you, it's going to be the weekend of 11-12 March, whereas for Anthony, it's just near the corner. It's the 5th of March.
Yeah, is Anthony going to win again?
That would be cool.
He's going to get like 2 slots for Worlds.
Yeah, so because of that, we're gonna stop talking about Standard for the next 2 episodes, so not that many actually, and then we're gonna definitely explain all our findings for the, I believe the American RC is just like months, like even more than a month after ours, which is strange.
Yeah, I think it's in a while. I mean, that's good for us, right? Because we can actually talk about this. By the way, I want to thank personally, like some players I run into the tournament and some people approached to me, like, to say they were fans of the podcast. So I want to say that, that means a lot to us. But yeah, we're going to go for no standard, that's rules. I also, I briefly talked with one player around about this in the tournament, like our rule is, we don't talk about formats where we're testing because we want everything we say to be as we think it. And that's why. And the plan is just to keep doing it. So for the moment, it's going to be no standard, but there's plenty of formats and plenty of like competitive Magic to talk about. And we'll
it's to respect both the teammates as well as the listeners.
Exactly. Like our teammates know that we will not leak anything, and our listeners know that everything we say we're not holding off. Like we think a deck is good, we want to say it like the same way I explained why I think the swamp is better than the Urborg. It could be wrong, but that's what I think, right? So yeah, I mean, no standard for now. I know standard is not exactly your favorite format so far, but I think you're liking it so far, right? Aren't you?
Yeah, I'm playing a lot of Magic Online leagues. I think that the level up there it's all right, and I still didn't have to open Arena, so I'm glad that Magic Online is holding up well.
Are you gonna allow me to test in Arena though? Can I?
Oh yeah, you can play. I can play against you if you have an account or on paper. I bought almost every paper card, so you can play on Discord.
Like the old days. That's how we want to do it.
Yeah, also, I have Calc coming up here, actually, in the Senigallia, so we're gonna do some paper testing.
Well, I also got to talk with a lot of friends, like a lot of people, I talked a lot with Seth in the tournament. I got to hang with Calc on Monday. It was really cool. We went for the walk, go to the Rocky Stairs or whatever, got an ice cream. Like, I got to spend some time with Calc the day after the tournament.
Rocky Balboa?
Yeah, exactly. There's like this
statue cool.
The movie, there's the stairs in the movie.
Yeah.
Which is like, there was a lot of people. It's like a touristic thing, right? But I got mostly, the big part of it is just got to, I was talking with Sergio and Alberto from Spain, but also with Calc. So we had this like relaxing walk. We were 2 hours or so like walking and just hanging out. We were making Calc practices Spanish, which is pretty good, by the way. And yeah, it was good. I got to see him again. Like Calc is a good friend of both of us. So I'm looking forward to see him again in Naples.
Yeah, that my girlfriend actually wants to go back to New York this year again. So I'm probably
going to see back from
more
it.
Calc.
She likes.
Yeah, I know. She said she wants to see more.
All right.
And the flights is just incredibly cheap too.
How much is a flight?
It's 400 euros.
That's pretty good. Hashtag off topic. MT finance.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, there's no Anthony. We can go off topic.
Nice. That's great. Take that, Anthony. We're talking about off Magic things.
Also, there's no Anthony, so we're going to talk about Legacy and Vintage later, so stay tuned.
Cool. So yeah, so you can just put this dual lens to use. Yeah. All right. We can also do the true and only format of the people, Alchemy. Right?
Yeah, it would never be a Carney's podcast without a little bit of a Pauper talk, especially since I played my first Pauper challenge in, I don't know, since I had COVID this summer, I think. So, past summer. And I got the top 8 with the Orzhov Ephemerate.
Yay! Victory! Kind of.
Yeah, it was funny because I woke up on a Saturday morning and I was like, yeah, I don't know what to do. I fired off a standard league, and I felt there was a Pauper challenge starting. I'm like, I guess I can multi-queue, but then obviously the Pauper games lasted forever, so I never played another
Exactly.
another standard match.
You cannot multi-queue Pauper. That's my experience. Pauper is like, the games are so grindy, they never end fast, so you can never multi-queue.
Yeah, I was playing my Ores of Ephemerate, so that's the black and white deck with Thrubbin Inspector and Scour Skyfisher, Spirited Companion, which is the new Elvish Visionary that just works so well, and of course you have the Initiative. It's a really cool deck. It's been my pet deck for weeks now. Yeah, just went. I was 5-1. I was 5-1 in the Swiss, and then I lost the first match in the top 8. My opponent played super well. So they were playing blue-black Terror, right?
The luck deck?
And the luck deck, sure. But they were always able to blank my Chainer's Edict with Rotten Reunion every time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never seen that play before. Basically, like, they were always 1 mana up, and I played my first Chainer, and they played Rotten Reunion in response. Then they had it in the graveyard. I didn't have a relic, so my next Chainer would have also been bricked. Ooh. And that happened again, both games. And I felt like, Chainer Edict, which is supposed to be one of the best cards against Tolerant Terror and Friends, was just, not good at all. Yeah. I wish it was like a Journey to Nowhere or whatever.
Wow, that's pretty good. By the way, you just remembered me something. I don't know if it was in the house. I think it was someone around into the tournament. You see, I talk with a lot of people. So we had a question for you because you're the expert. Auras, you know Pioneer Auras? You know what I'm going to ask, right?
Is it a luck deck? Of course.
No. I mean, of course it is a luck deck.
Oh, okay.
How, out of the 0 to 10 scale, is it like what's the score? What's the luck score of this luck deck? Because you're the authority on this matter, so I wanted to ask.
Yeah, no, man. You saw the final, right? Like, the player had 3 lands, 4 spells, and mulligan every time.
Well, we agreed it's a luck deck, but it's like a 9? Is it a 10? Is it a 9.5? Is it an 8? What do you think in the chart of the luck decks? I know it's pretty high, but I wanted to know your opinion.
Maybe, like, the version with a Blood Cover Scout is a 10, but the version Mati played without, maybe, like, can be a 9.
9, okay, thank you. So that's
mean, compared to the Pioneer format, of course, like, Reanimator and Legacy is a 10, but...
Yeah, okay, so it's more or less like Reanimator. Okay, so the...
Yeah, I would say it's the Reanimator of Pioneer.
Okay, so a tier 1 luck deck. The Blood Cover Scout, and the Mati one is like a Merle tier 2 luck deck. Okay, thank you. I mean,
you can say tier for the people that loved my first power rankings, tier 1.5.
Okay. I mean, if for the person that actually asked me, now you have the answer. Thank you, Mengu. You can continue with the Pauper.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, that was it, honestly. Ores of Ephemerate. Also, just once again, I want to praise the format. I played 7 rounds, 7 different decks, all tier 1, like Mono Red, Mono Blue, Affinity. Every match was cool. I got to win most of them. So yeah, great format. Again, highly suggested. And you can play an interactive play an interactive deck, play creature, play removal spells. Basically a limited, but your mana base doesn't suck.
That's a good point. So if I randomly join a Pauper format this weekend, like a challenge, do you recommend this deck to me?
If you randomly join a Pauper challenge, make sure to not tell Anthony.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will never do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's important.
It is important.
And also, I think the Ores of Ephemerate I played is pretty cool. You can, I'll post the list in the show notes, of course.
Okay, that's good to know.
Some Pauper videos. But yeah, I think it's both good and fun.
Okay.
That's a combo.
I will definitely play it I haven't played the Pauper Challenge in a while, but, every few months I end playing one. And I feel like maybe after playing so much Pioneer Unlimited, I may just randomly get one. It depends on, if I have something else to do, but I might play it.
Yeah, one of the biggest things I did with my deck, and I think it's good, is that I cut Pegasus Guardian from my deck. Do you know what that does?
Nope.
So that is a Commander Legends card. It's a 6 mana 3/3, but you can play for the adventure mode. Okay. And at 2 mana, it blinks a card.
Okay, so
it's basically an additional Ephemerate.
Yeah,
but
blink.
It's also Dude. That's a 6 mana thing.
I mean, 6 is expensive, right? 6 mana is a lot.
Yeah, it's just weak. And it's also 20 ticks on Magic Online.
I mean, I'm gonna have to ask this because I mean Anthony Would also. Did you cut it because it's 20 ticks?
This is me and you, so Anthony will never know this. I mean, the fact that it was 20 ticks had a non-zero impact on me
Exactly. That
cutting
was a
it.
question. Yeah. Like, did it had some impact? Okay, the answer is yes.
No, so in paper I own them and I didn't play them. It went well, and I said, you know what? I just from now on I'm not gonna play them.
Okay, that's good. It makes the deck considerably cheaper in Magic Online.
Yeah, it's now like the difference between the two Hours of Ephemerate that top hated are one is 123 ticks and mine is 64.
Wow.
You know,
Half price.
Yeah.
You know, only because of
Yeah,
Pegasus.
it's just-
Yeah, it's not.
yeah.
Bye bye Pegasus. You had a great time in the format of the people, but now you know due to some issues, you're not gonna be played in the deck anymore. Ciao.
Yeah, but goodbye, Pegasus. But nonetheless, I think that the deck is good. So that is it for the format of the people. Let's move to Legacy, shall we?
Yeah, I mean Legacy. There's this. There's the showcase, right? Also, this huge. I think I will play it in Naples. I have to actually book the flight still, but I will play it also because now that I'm qualified, I might try it a little bit less hard than standard, and I want to play like some Legacy. Legacy, one of my lifetime favorite formats. So I will try to play that on Friday as well.
Yeah, since you're not coming to Four Seasons, I think you should play the Friday.
Exactly.
Friday event.
Yeah,
I'm actually not playing the Friday event in Naples.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing Four Seasons, I mean, if I was playing Four Seasons, I will not play it. But since I'm not coming there, you know, I feel like after so many days out of home, I definitely need to go back to my routine a little bit. You know, get some
for
sport.
sure.
Like I feel like if you're out for 10 days, and I feel like I've been out for like a month. I told you actually before the podcast, like it feels like it's been a long time since I haven't done a podcast, but it's like I missed 1 week, right? I've just been out forever, but I'm not.
Yeah, for me it's the opposite. I had just nothing happening, February, so I can't wait to go to Four Seasons next weekend, and then Naples, and then Prague. It's gonna be fun.
Let's have a look. I mean, at the the top 8
Legacy.
Legacy. I mean, there's not too many initiatives, and there's a lot of things. You're gonna start, Mengu, or do I start?
I'm going to start saying that for those of you maybe are a little bit out of the Magic Online events, this weekend it's important for a turn of players, because on Saturday there's the Vintage Showcase, which starts at 7 p.m. for me. I'll play that one. And then on Sunday there's the Legacy Showcase at 5 p.m. We are saying the European hour, of course.
Yeah, because we're Europeans.
Exactly. So there's two important events. You have 40 QPs. You need 40 QPs to join. I'll play the Vintage one on Sunday. I'm not home, so I can't play the Legacy one. But this is definitely, actually, I thought about this. This is another route to qualify for the PT.
Yeah. One more thing though, I got to play the mocks like the weekend in the US. The mocks started like at 10 a.m. It's so much better. I loved it. I loved playing the mocks. Like I went like 1-2 drop or whatever, 1-2 drop. I don't remember, like 2-1 drop. I don't know. But I dropped and it was like lunchtime.
Yeah.
It was so good. I don't dislike tournaments at 5 p.m. But tournaments online at 10 a.m. they're like they're the best. I wish they were sometimes also this early in Europe. I understand that would mean like so bad for Americans that it's not good, but yeah, it was.
I
really
mean,
good.
At the end of the day, Magic is an American company. Most Magic players are American. We do have challenges at our time now, so I think it's fine.
I will try to play one of them. Yeah, I think it's a good time to play Magic.
Yeah, I'm used to just being sleepy whenever I play online events. I've been doing that for the whole COVID years, and it sucked the whole time.
So there were some things going on this weekend in the Legacy metagame.
Yeah, so the biggest change, I think you weren't here ever when the Perexual OB1 cards were added to Legacy. But we have 2 new cards joining Legacy. One that is now stock in every Delver deck. It is actually not in every Delver deck, but yeah, it's the Minor Misstep.
Yep. That card's
playable, you can
right?
see... Yeah, Wiki, which is Angelo Cadei, very very good Italian Legacy player, back-to-back top 8 with Grixis splashing for is enough out, has 3 Minor Misstep main deck in Delver.
That's good. I think Minor Misstep though, however, should be better against that. Like it seems to me like this card will be better in decks like Control or whatever against Delver than Delver itself. That was my impression from the outside.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what Anzidi also said about Four Color. I believe Four Color arrived second on Sunday. Did he have a minor misstep? It did.
Yeah,
3 minor
copies.
missteps.
I think 3 copies may be too much, but at least the card seems like should be make the blue decks that are on Delver a little bit better against Delver. Which is a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. No, for sure. And then the other card that's popping up won the Legacy Challenge last weekend. This time came top 4 was Mercurial Spelldancer, which is the quote-unquote, of course, Anthony's gonna hate me for saying it, the new Red Arcanist.
Oh, I got to see him like complaining about people calling these cards like, when we call a card that's another card, we call Squelch Mother of Runes or whatever.
Yeah.
He was like, it's not Mother of Runes. I actually laughed at it. We're so evil by making fun of it, but yeah, this is quote Arcanist, even though so there's one matchup where this card is much better than Arcanist, and it's Initiative. Like this card is perfect to destroy initiatives because can't be blocked, which means it is guaranteed to steal initiative. So I think,
I mean the Initiative deck plays a 2-3 Walking Ballista, so
yeah, but it's still like a blockable guy. Like if you don't have they need to have initiative into Ballista, right? Like the fact that this card, always steal it, that's so huge. For
sure. But yeah, so those are the new cards that are popping up, and it's not that easy for new cards to be in Legacy. Another new card is Atraxa, showing up in JPA Sneak and Show deck, a couple of copies of it. Actually got to play a league with this deck, and I pitched Atraxa to Force of Will a couple of times, and I think that's a good thing.
Well, I mean, Show and Tell finally, like GPS pet deck, he finally picked a card after 10 years. No, because I was like been joking, like, Show and Tell.
Yeah, it's the same deck.
Yeah, it's because they also make this Legacy cards. Like, remember this Legacy tournament where they didn't put any
Heritage.
Yeah, Heritage or whatever, and Show and Tell was there already. Like Show and Tell just didn't pick a single card in the last 10 years, and the deck's still like...
There's Brothers Who Dead in the sideboard, but yeah, mostly it's the same deck.
Mostly nothing, right? So Atraxa might be the big deal here. I don't know how good it is. I assume he was kind of trying, but I mean...
Yeah, Atraxa is showing up in every format, honestly. We're going to see her later in Vintage as well, and... Again, just a Griselbrand that you pitch it to Force. Of course, if you Show and Tell or Sneak Attack it's going to be worse than Griselbrand, but the flexibility of pitching it, I think
the thing is how
really
worse. Like, the key point here is like, how likely are you going to lose once you put Atraxa into play? That's a big deal. That's a big question, right?
Yeah, so I played against a lot of Reanimator, and whenever they reanimated Atraxa, I lost. In the same way that whenever they reanimate Griselbrand, I lost.
Exactly.
The only time when I beat Reanimator is when they put Archon of Cruelty, which is Dice to Solitude or a Spell Bomb, and doesn't do any value, basically.
Yeah, but this one, I mean, reveals 10 cards. That's so many cards. Like,
yeah, it's just so many
like
cards.
How likely are you to not combo again once you reveal 10
exactly. You always just go off again, if not that turn, the one after.
Honestly, I could see this deck just being like a 4 Atraxa deck. And if it plays 4 Atraxa, well, that would be a huge change. Like, if all your big guys, like half of your big guys can be pitched to Force of Will, that's a whole different thing. So I don't know. If it's good enough, JPF will for sure find out.
Yeah, we're going to see later, but I guess I can do a little bit preview. But top 4 of a Vintage challenge, there's Oath of Druids with 4 Oath, 4 Atraxa, 4 Show and Tell, as well as in the sideboard 4 Force of Vigor.
Wow, that's a lot of force.
Yeah, that is 4 Atraxa here are definitely good. But at the same time, I want to say that I played White Initiative. I played against Oath. They Oath the Atraxa. I defeated it. I would have never defeated Serra's Emissary.
Any other creatures? Yeah, exactly. I mean, Show and Tell into Atraxa seems powerful. I guess in Vintage, if you reveal 10 cards, it's easy to reveal a counterspell. So maybe that's a thing. Like, you can just reveal like all the cards. If you reveal Preordained, you can just search for another Force of Will. I don't know. It's I guess you're not guaranteed to get Force of Will, but it's easy enough in both Vintage and Legacy.
Ooh, in Vintage, you actually combo with Atraxa and Flash.
Wow.
Flash. Yeah, because you flash Atraxa dies, you still triggers.
Just draw 10 cards.
2
Okay.
mana, draw 5,
Yeah, well,
whatever.
draw 5, but like, it's not like draw 5. It's like you see 10 and get the 5 ones. That are good.
Yeah, flash is restricted in Vintage, of course. Actually, I want to tell a story. When I was a child, I bought all the cards for Flash to play in Vintage. It was for Flash. It was a tournament, no proxies, and they just banned the card before the tournament.
No, GG.
Yeah, so I still have like 4 Flash somewhere. I don't know. They might be expensive
I mean,
now.
this deck seems like, I mean, it seems well built. You know, I don't know if it's gonna be good or not, but it seems well built for what it's trying to do. Like, it has a lot of
Yeah,
different combos, but also doesn't have too much air for it.
yeah.
Attracts also.
And actually, looking forward to play Vintage this weekend. I think I'm gonna once again play the White Initiative. I don't know why, but I like just playing White Initiative in Vintage.
Yeah, I like it more than Legacy also. I don't know what I will play. I mean, I was going to play Tinker because last time I played Tinker for like I barely to never played the deck, but I played in one challenge. I got top 16 and I had good vibes with the deck with the Esper Tinker. But I might just try to play some of the. I mean, this Oath deck. I might just play a league and I feel good with it. You know, I will try it. It probably has a fine matchup against Doomsday, right? Because my Vintage story is I always lose to Doomsday. So once I want to play a deck that's good against Doomsday. I assume the Traxxas combo is good. I mean, it has to be because Doomsday cannot put anything out of show and tell. So
I was playing. So we had a paper Vintage event actually last week, and 15 people, which was pretty cool. Full proxy, of course, and one player brought Vintage and won.
I mean, brought Doomsday.
Sorry, Doomsday. I meant to say
Classic.
Doomsday.
I mean, are we ever gonna learn Doomsday in Vintage? Because I always feel like it's the best deck.
Yeah.
But I also never. I don't know. It just feels so little Vintage. Like, it feels so Legacy to me, even though I think it's the best deck. I think that's why I never tried it. But maybe
I don't know. I don't know how little it feels Vintage when they start Black Lotus, which is like every time. It's over.
Yeah, every game they have a Lotus every game. That's why it's the best deck.
Yeah, it's got Lotus. Doomsday.
But also, I saw the Discovery like this version now they play like Bubble. Before they didn't play Bubble.
Mishra's Bubble.
Yeah. Like there's
okay.
They're playing this Bubble. I don't know. I mean, I assume to make the deck more compact, but
one very good tech that I took from Discovery is the cut down in the sideboard. It's not playing Fatal Push anymore, but cut down is the perfect answer to Archon of Cruelty, Archon of Emeria, and Opposition Agent. I think it's a cool tech.
Wow, that's sick.
It's something that because I was playing Grixis in paper because I didn't want to play White Initiative in paper, and sometimes I had Fatal Push and it wasn't turned on by the fetchland. I was like, ooh, I should have cut down.
That's sick. I didn't think of it. And they also play Subtlety. I don't know what for.
Subtlety. 2 Subtlety. Maybe it's additional counter for Archon.
Oh, okay. I just can't pronounce that card. It just beyond my power. Yeah, Subtlety. I cannot.
Subtlety.
All right. I mean,
I definitely practice.
I might just play a league with Oath and a league with Doomsday. And if I go for one or more with a deck, I will just play that one. That's gonna be my method.
It starts at 7 p.m. though. It's so late.
Yeah, that's probably good for Doomsday, right? It should be. I don't know actually.
Wait, is it? It's good, definitely good for White Initiative.
Yeah, exactly.
That one does not take
no,
much.
but I don't want to play White. I don't know. I actually.
No, it's fine. I totally understand.
Also. I don't know what I'm going to play, but for me, Vintage tournaments, I never take them too serious because the format is like so wild. It's like like.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so
this is for fun format.
Exactly, it's a for fun format, but it's also a competitive tournament. So I would just
for sure you can qualify to the Pro Tour.
Exactly.
Winning a Vintage Showcase and throwing a Vintage Cube.
Yeah, so we did Vintage before Legacy, that's fine.
They should qualify to Worlds that way.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to play one of the Yes Guy decks or whatever, I think.
No. Play Power 9.
Very bad for 3 AM play as well.
Yeah.
I need to have
so in Legacy instead, I am pretty lost because...
one more thing though about Legacy. One important thing.
Tell me.
Another week, another Cephalid in the top 8. Just saying.
Oh, I mean, Cephalid is one of the best decks in the format. I think it's... We got it, right?
Yeah, but that makes me... I kind of don't want to play it.
There's 3 Shuko in this list. 3.
No, I mean, that's not the wild part. The wild part is 3 Orange Chants, 3 Silence.
3 Orange Chant, 3 Silence.
That is
I don't know.
a lot. You know?
3 Shuko.
Yeah, I mean... This deck is just like only like they're mono combo. They're just like super combo. 3 step through, 2 therapies, 6 silence. I'm gonna be honest. I never tried this Orange Chant approach in the deck. it is the second time I see a player making top it with them. So at this point, I don't know if I'm gonna have time for everything. So I might not have time for this. But if I do have time, I want to try it, because what if this is the card the Cephalid always needed? Or enchant.
Look at 3 Narcomoebas. It's so easy to not find your creatures with this deck.
I mean, they played 3 step through, right? So you have 4 Sagas, 3 Shukas, 4 Nomads. That's 11 cards, and then 4 Cephalid, 3 Demonic Tutors, basically. So it's like a lot of pieces. It's 7 pieces for one, and like 11 pieces of the other, with 8 cantrips. That's not so hard, Mengu. Maybe I don't know.
All I can say is that I always lose this deck. I played the Legacy Challenge. I played 8 cast. I lost to this deck. I lost to other decks as well. But yeah, I don't know. I played 8 cast and I played a preliminary with White Initiative. I just maybe it's Ancient Tomb decks are not as good anymore.
I mean, Cephalid has a good matchup against all the Ancient Tomb decks. If that's all you're playing, I can tell. I mean, like, then again, like Initiative becoming a tier 1 deck made Cephalid good again. I mean, not again, like made Cephalid good. It had never been good before. So definitely, if you're playing all these decks, they're gonna struggle against Cephalid again and again, because that's what this deck beats. It's like there's just a combo deck that doesn't fall to Chalice of the Void as much as other decks. So especially with Saga, getting through Chalice, you can just turn, like, you could go to 1 Chalice and still die in turn 3 because they go Saga, Cephalid, die, and that's pretty good.
For sure. All right, that is.
Let's go back to all the Legacy decks. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. It seems that there's no like consensus on like the snuff out Delver situation. There's some players with the snuff out, some without. Like they're like names we recognize. We have Wiki, but we also have like all the players is playing the snuff out, like the Hussar, the Winged Hussar, another regular. It's what do you think? Like I don't know what to think, honestly.
So I played a little bit of I played a Grixis with Snuff Out, and I played a Blue-Red. I don't know. Well, I guess maybe it's variance, but when I played Grixis, I always got my Wasteland screwed. I just naturally drew my Underground Sea. It was terrible.
Terrible is a strong word, yeah?
No, for real. Like, I believe I got like color screwed every game, and it shouldn't have happened. I just feel like the power level is so high that you should not splash a color in Delver anymore.
Okay. I mean, I have no idea. I haven't played it. I think these decks are playing 2 Underground Seas, which makes it much better against the Wasteland situation. But
no, yeah, but I was Wastelanded out of red. That was my problem.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you get the sea, you cannot play the red card. So that's also big. Yeah, no, it's a big issue. Like, Island is already annoying because it doesn't, you cannot double spell.
Yeah, exactly.
So Underground Sea is like more islands, which is like annoying.
Yeah, you have like 1 island, 4 Wasteland, 2 Underground Sea. That's only 12 red sources.
Yeah, exactly. It's not.
And 1 Sentry, 11 red sources. That's unacceptable.
I mean, I don't think it's unacceptable because you play the countries, but I think it's tight. And the thing is, obviously, like how good Snuff Out is. Like Snuff Out is just super good against Initiative. It's probably pretty good in the mirror match as well, to be fair. But then, I mean, you can still get paired against like Reanimator or whatever, and they're having the black splash is like pretty good, isn't it? That's my impression at least.
I don't know. Honestly, again, my problem was the mana base. Like, I just didn't have cards, didn't have the lands to play Pyroblast and Bolts in the same turn, or, Channel. Again.
Absolutely. Yeah, I understand. Like, Island is already pretty bad.
Back in the days, we used to play 18 lands with 4 Wasteland, right? So there was 14 sources of each.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, some of them, like, Hussar, he didn't play Wasteland. That's a way to make a Sniff Out better.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at Wiki's list, right? Which again is a player I respect a lot. So I strongly disagree, but again, his results are strong. So obviously, like, his results speak definitely more than mine. Which is
yeah, but having more results doesn't make it so you're right. But I guess
no, but like
I have no
a
opinions.
Good player with result is to be trusted. Let's say.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also like more players playing with Wastelands than play without Wastelands also. It's like, it's a different way to build a deck. I also have no opinion, so I will just go with what Mengu says, because he played the deck more, and I will default towards like normal Blue-Red Delver deck at this point.
Yeah.
But also because we're having like a little bit less initiative, and I guess we still have some Delvers, but I'm not like, is Snuff Out like that good in the mirror match? Because in the mirror match is actually the matchup where having Island hurts you the most, right? Because they waste on your Volcanic, and having their source, like that's a matchup where you often need red now. Like that's a matchup.
Yeah, but you also have an answer to Murktide very easily.
Yeah, so maybe that's good in the mirror match. Like if his Snuff Out is good in the mirror match, that's a good reason to play Snuff Out, I think. Like you play mirror matches,
next week.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, next week I have so I played against Reed a couple of weeks ago for Channel Fireball, and I'm gonna be playing against Luis Scott Vargas. He's gonna be on like some various version of Grixis, so Delver or Mercurial Spelldancer, and I'm gonna be on various version of Ancient Tomb. We're gonna do that match. Cool. It's gonna happen in the on Tuesday afternoon on Twitch, so you can check it out.
I actually might. Yeah, I mean, I like this content. I think it's recommended content.
Yeah, I need to test for 4 seasons, so I challenged Luis and he accepted it. So I'm gonna double queue testing and content.
But one day we can also we can also do this. We can also go for this like Carnage testing, open house or whatever. Maybe we can do. It's just an idea that's occurred to me, but we can maybe like this once a month or whatever. We could try one day.
Yeah, right now I think we have all the more important events to test for rather than Legacy, but for content it's definitely good, I think.
Yeah, but the 2-for-1 concept is what makes it appealing, I think.
For sure.
You can test. Yeah. Also, it's kind of like showing test also shows like process or whatever. One more thing, we also had the Saturday winning Death and Taxes.
Right. Yeah, I haven't thought about it, but it's definitely a surprise. Honestly, it makes sense. I was just talking with this friend of mine about how like Delver seems to be like dominating right now, pushed initiative slightly behind again. There's just so many Delver in the top 8, like 3 or 4 in every top 8, and boom, you just see Death and Taxes, which is praise on Delver winning the tournament.
Yeah, I think Snuff Out is a big deal. Like if I'm playing initiative and they're playing Delver plus Snuff Out, I mean, the matchup was kind of close before, but ahead for initiative, but only for a little bit. And now, like, Snuff Out has to be a game changer, like a big game changer, like by a lot. That's my impression on the format. Like seeing the decklist and such, I'm saying like I will not want to play initiative for as long as Delver players are playing the Snuff Out. Like imagine, I mean, 0 mana kill a creature. This is so powerful. Like it's just completely.
I think it's not only the deck building, it's also maybe like players just practice, because when I won my Legacy PTQ online, it was December, and I beat 5 or 6 blue-red Delver decks. But maybe if I played the matchups again now, like same deck list, maybe my opponents would have played better. I don't know. Just in general, just a more awareness of the deck definitely made so that they could adapt way better than I could.
Yeah, I mean that's probably true, but also the fact this first up, like 2 of them have the 4 Snuff Outs. Like even if one they play better, but 2 if they play better with 4 0 mana terminates, that's a bad combination. You play your 4 drop, get initiative. They play 0 mana terminate, get the initiative back. Let's just remember how sick Submerge was out of Delver. Like I just think of it this way because I remember Submerge when I played it against green decks. I was like, wow, this card is like 0 mana, kill a creature, just completely like obscene. Like it's just so good. But this is like main deck Submerge 4 off.
Yeah, no, but again, against initiative is sick because I don't wasteland you, so you're gonna have 0 problem.
Exactly.
Sunbird. Like it feels like I am manipulating the news to make people not play Snuff Out. The problem I think it comes in the mirror match. That's where the problem is.
I guess testing could answer that because I can see, like I understand where you're coming from, and I think in theory Snuff Out should be bad in the mirror match, because also historically splashing in Delver mirrors has not been a good idea because of Wasteland or whatever. But there's a chance this actually makes the mirror better because of what you said about the Murktide region. Like if I'm playing a mirror match and you can kill my Murktide but I cannot, that's rough because you are gonna be ahead in the very long game. Like I am forced to keep Forceful for your Murktide, which means I cannot force your iterations, right? But the player who has Snuff Out doesn't have to force the Murktides, so they can force the iterations, and therefore will on average have more cards. That is my theory, at least. Like on paper, I think there's a good chance Snuff Out actually makes the mirror better, even though the lives matter there also. But just like killing Murktide is just so huge. Imagine, I mean, this big turn where you play the Murktide, they kill it for 0 mana and play their own Murktide, and you're just dead. Like how are you going to come back from that, right? So,
yeah, that's one of the strength of Blue Black Shadow. You see it in the top 4. Blue Black Shadow, of course, playing the snuff outs, and I made a lead with Blue Black Shadow and I beat Delver, and the situations actually happened. I went turn 2, like snuff out your 2 threats, and just play 2 Shadow, and it was like,
boom,
it's insane.
GG.
Like, what just happened here?
I mean, that's probably how I think it was GGB in Steam, right? Like the who played it first, but I think that's probably how Snuff Out ended in this deck. Like they played against Shadow, they lost to Snuff Out, or they played with Initiative and lost to Snuff Out, and we're like, maybe we can play Snuff Out in this deck.
Yeah, just having both of the best, right? You just both play the Iteration Channeler and you play the Snuff Out.
Exactly.
Again,
yeah.
I'm not right now. I don't play blue decks too often. I was just I lost the mirror match to Wasteland a couple of in a row, and I felt like I don't want to do this anymore. And then I played with blue red, and it didn't get Wasteland. It was nice.
No, I mean, so, I'm not saying like for like. I think it's on the air. I'm not sure. Like, I think looking on paper is not easy to decide. I think this will require further testing. So,
for sure. So yeah, we're gonna update you next week with my vintage showcase performance. Hopefully, I have a good result. What about you, Javier? What are you gonna do this week?
I'm fully going to plan these both challenges showcase.
Okay.
I might pull the trigger on Net Cephalic Breakfast, but other than that. I don't know what I'm going to play at the front. I think probably Cephalid or Delver for Legacy. And in Vintage, I have no idea. Like, yeah, all these decks seem cool. I'm not going to play something different. So I'm going to play either Oath or Tinker or probably Fair decks. Fair decks are usually what I do the best with, like the Shaman decks. But this time, they're also not that good. Because I think the issue with Fair decks is you have to prepare a lot for specific matchups in Vintage. But then you pair it against Dredge or Doomsday and you lose, so it's a little bit rough.
Yeah. So as far as I know, the fair decks like Teamer, Sultai were doing well, but they were pushed out of the metagame by Initiative because Initiative tends to prey on creature decks very well. But now, as far like if you look at the top 8s, there's 0 Initiative in the 2 top 8s. Maybe so there's gonna be maybe a little bit less of that. At the same time, it's a showcase, so people that don't play the format tend to play that. So Initiative seems like an easy deck to pick up and play.
Yeah, that I agree. I also think this like Mana Blue Coveted Jewel deck is always solid against me when I play against it. So maybe that's a deck I could play, but I don't think I'm gonna play that deck because it will be like pick up and play, which is not really my thing in Vintage. I think in Vintage, knowing your deck a little bit is I want to say important compared to other formats, but it's like, it's good to have some plans. Like if it's the first time you play a matchup, it's not gonna go well.
Yeah, this is why Princip is the trophy leader, and I swear he always top 8s every Vintage event with Paradox Engine. Not Paradox Engine, Paradox Outcome, Coveted Jewel deck.
I mean, he got the double top 8. I mean, I guess maybe I could do 75 net deck his deck list.
No, but like it's crazy. If you look at his results, it's just top 8s every Vintage event with this deck.
We could try this deck. I mean, it's a very Mengu
deck.
Showcase
right? And PTQs and such.
It's an artifact Mengu deck. Maybe this is good to play. I
mean, it's like 4 Ancient Tomb.
Yeah, I think Mengu decks are Ancient Tomb decks. Yeah, I think. I might try. I mean, I have time to play 1 league or 2, so I have to pick 2 decks. What are recommendations? Okay, 2 best decks to try, and if I like, just play them.
Yeah, so I recommend you the Coveted Jewel deck. I think it's definitely very good.
Okay.
And in Legacy, I think you should play Grixis.
No, I think in Vintage. In Legacy, I know what to try. I will try Grixis for sure. Also okay. But in Vintage,
in
deck.
Vintage? So you played Oath in the past.
I've played,
with Atraxa. That list is cool, but maybe it's just not as fun as picking up your artifacts and recasting them. That is very fun.
One last question about this. The one with show and tell or the one without? Keep in mind, I will follow your advice. So...
Oh, this is...
Responsibly.
So, Show and Tell has never been a good Vintage card, and I don't think that Atraxa changes that, so...
Okay, the number 1.
Without Show and Tell.
All right,
just play Planeswalkers. Like, how many Planeswalkers does the other list play? Oh, just 1 Oko? I thought there was this Oath of Druids with like 12 Planeswalkers or whatever.
No, this is Paradoxical Oath, actually.
Paradoxical Oath?
Somehow.
No.
With also 1 Show and Tell, though, anyway.
Oh, wow.
This deck is wild. I love it.
Yeah, it's just vintage middle-aged man just adding 1 of in their deck. A classic.
Yeah, so you look at a lot of vintage decks, and there's a lot of one-offs that you think like, wow, it's restricted, but it's not. Like
No, no. Yeah, I was so a totally different thing, but whatever. I was looking at Matti Kuzma, Abuzan Aura's deck, and he plays a lot of one-offs Aura, right?
yeah,
Because of the light pause.
correct.
And then he has one of the combat trick, Lauren's Escape.
Yeah, well, I played a lot against this deck list, and I always thought of it. Like, like it's a lot of auras and one Lawrence Escape. Like, if you see the deck list, I'm pretty sure someone might think it's like an aura, because it's a
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know the card, so I went for it, expecting to be an aura, and it's I was like, wait. Anyway.
No, it's good. I thought, I saw this deck so much because it was a team, the team deck, right? But yeah, one Lawrence Escape always feels strange to me.
Yeah, explain around it. All right, Javier, how about we say goodbye to our listeners? I have to go cut my hair.
Are you going to post a Mengu fashion picture after you cut your hair in Twitter?
In 40 minutes. Yeah.
Nice.
I will take a picture.
Next week, hopefully, if Anthony's boat gets to Australia, we will have like our three-person podcast where we will probably have a little bit less eternal formats and a little bit more like modern and pioneer. But I hope you liked it, and see you next week. Thanks for listening, and yeah, you know where to send the feedback, don't you?
Yeah, I am Andrea Mengucci at Mengu09. Javier is Javier D Magic. Thank you for listening. Again, if you want to become a Patreon and share your results and ask our questions directly, that I will be always answering. Javier has slacking a little bit in the Discord, but he gave me his words. No, he actually didn't, but he's gonna do it now.
Yeah, I'm also
that he's gonna be more active in the Discord.
I'm also ready to answer the important matching questions. As like, is this deck a luck deck or not? You can show your deck, and we will judge it in terms of how luck-based it is. That's a very important thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, patreon.com/carnies. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.